Hey, today I'm going to show you guys how to change out or kind of check to make sure that the spring in the patio umbrella crank is operating properly. So if you take a look at the inside of the crank here, you kind of see the dowel that the rope goes through, and then you'll see kind of a spring in here. The gears for the crank are underneath this metal plate right there. And then there's a tooth that kind of provides the ratcheting mechanism. So if you have a crank that isn't working properly, if you take it apart, there's another video showing you how to disassemble the crank from the umbrella frame. So you'll probably have already watched that video to get the crank off. If the spring is not looking like it is here, where part of the spring is wrapped around the tooth, the other part of the spring is in that hole, you'll probably want to disassemble it and reassemble properly. Or if you do need a new spring, I'll kind of show you how to take the spring out and put the spring back in. So we'll just start off by removing that screw with a Phillips screwdriver. Got a screw and a washer or two there. So to remove the spring, I'm just going to lift the end of the spring out of that hole right there. Just kind of comes off like so. You can see one side of the spring has a little hook on it. The other end is just bent to stick in that hole. So it's not ratcheting right now because the spring isn't in place. To put the spring in place, I think the easiest way to do that, you want to make sure that that finger piece is kind of pushed back up in the ratcheting area of the crank. You know, make sure that it's not sitting out backwards or anything. So I'm just going to wrap the hook piece right around the tooth. Put the circular piece around the circle where the screw goes. We're going to put the screw back in place. Get it nice and tight. And then you can either use a screwdriver or your finger to put the other portion of the spring back into that hole. So yeah, there it's back in place. Just going to make sure that my screw is nice and tight. The next thing you want to do, you just want to make sure that you hold the crank with one hand, take your other hand, just kind of make sure that that's hand tightened, the dowel here, and we've got a working crank again. Thanks for watching.